Imagine not being Leeds, not feeling this pain, not dancing through thunder, not walking through rain. Imagine not rising with fists in the air when the world turned its back and no one would care. We've lived in the ashes, we've drowned in defeat, but still we stand proud on our battered old feet. Imagine not loving with all that you are. Imagine not being Leeds.
We love you, Leeds, Leeds, Leeds.
Yes, we do, son. We do love you, Leeds, Leeds, Leeds. And welcome back to my favourite day of the week, Friday, which means one thing, Late Night Leeds. Now then, are you getting your little bob on there, mate? Are you going for it?
I love dancing, mate. I'm always dancing. One beer in, I'm always dancing.
Oh, nice one, mate. Nice. How are you doing, boys? Here, just to let everybody know, no Sean tonight. He's chosen night shift. So we've drafted in my best pal, Mr. Priestley. Some of you may know him, some of you won't. If you don't know him, get to know him. Top guy. Yeah, bit of a buffoon, but we love him.
I have a feeling some people are going to see me in a whole new light tonight.
Quite possibly.
Oh.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for first comment to come in saying he's actually put a light bulb in tonight. But yeah. Really appreciate the effort.
50 pence per metre.
I want to know who reached that high for you, mate, being 5'2" and all. But yeah, fair play. We'll get into it anyway. How are you doing, boys? How are you doing, Adam? How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Very good. Excited to watch the game tomorrow as well. See what it brings.
Yeah, Priestley, you going?
Unfortunately, no, I can't. It's my dad's birthday.
Good Peter. Happy birthday, Peter.
Yeah, he's 66 now. He's a pensioner. Gets his bus pass.
Good lad. Love Peter. But yeah, I'm gutted not to be going. It's our lassie's birthday on Sunday, so I've got to do all the husbandy stuff this weekend. I've been washing pots and doing all washing. I'm like, it's not your birthday till Sunday, but she's had me doing it today anday, 2 days early. Bless her.
What a hero. What a hero.
I'm only joking. I do that stuff anyway. Do you ever do that as a man, though, when you do like a chore in house and you sort of just like, you walk into the room and be like, expecting like, I don't know, some sort of applause, and she just looks at you and goes, are you joking me?
You just keep looking at it and dropping hints.
Honestly, like, oh my God, I can't believe how much washing I've just done out there. There's so much. And she just rolls eyes at you and thinks, sod off. Happens all the time.
There is an element of that. Yeah, like I could do something in the garden and saying, and I was coming like I'm a hero, but like, obviously, like, she doesn't really stop she does stuff all the time. And I do one thing, I'm like, yeah. Look, want to come see what I've done? Yeah. And she's like, no. I'm like, right, okay.
We're really bad at this, aren't we? We're really bad at stuff like that. Like I said, she does everything.
I'm lazy. Yeah. Do you know what it is though? Not women, men really. My partner, my missus, cares more about things being tidy than I do. She cares more about turning lights off than I do. You know, I'm just really bad.
Let's not talk about turning lights off because we've got Priestley in a good position here.
Sorry.
Don't be talking about that.
Yeah, don't start the
Priestley, give us a wave. Priestley, give us a wave. There's Mike, one of our members.
That's a wave. I thought that said save.
Class. Bit of a different dynamic this week with the three of us, but really looking forward to tomorrow's game. Even though I can't watch it, I'll have the score on. I'll be watching the highlights. Hopefully I can watch a full version of the game. Really excited for it. We've done really well in pre-season so far, but just sort of want to just wrap up, and I want to get your opinion, Priestley, because I've not had you on for about 3 or 4 weeks now. I want to get your opinion on the Iiggore Piao sort of mess. He ended up going to Marseille, or I think he's gone to Marseille. I don't think it's been official yet, has it?
I've seen a couple of tweets. I've seen a couple of photos of him holding the shirt up.
Are they actually being released now, mate?
Yeah. I mean, it were always going to be a tough one to get over the line. I'm not surprised he's gone to Marseille. They offered Champions League football, and the report Graham Smith published actually was quite in depth about the whole process behind it. And when you read that, sort of come to accept it.
Yeah. We were saying, weren't we, last week, Adam, is it's sort of you're fishing it right pond with that one. Ultimately probably a little bit too high for a newly promoted side to maybe go for, but you've got away we brought in some really good players, which we'll touch on throughout the show, but we need one or two, don't we, that I think are that next level up if you can get them over the line. We did it before with Rafinha. There is players out there that will join a Leeds United. This one just didn't get over the line, but there's no to say we can't still get a player of that caliber or two.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think there's always good value in Eredivisie as well. But his stats were just off the charts. Like we won't get anyone near with that goal and assists amount in a season last season. And the value you get from that league is really good. Getting him for 35 million euros as they have, that's great value. You don't seem to get that anywhere else. So I think we did all we could. I mean, the Graham Smith thing, the article. Oddly, here's a scoop. Oddly, I'm the only one. So they record. My company edits the Inside Edinburgh podcast.
He's dropped it. He's dropped it. He's dropped the bomb.
So oddly, they recorded one this week, but I couldn't fix the sound. We couldn't fix the sound, so it didn't get released. But I am the only person in the country who's actually watched it. I watched it all through, and so he went into it all as well. It's really, Lucas Perry was up. I know it's probably in the article as well, of course, but talking to him for an hour, around an hour, at midnight, which is amazing. But as like Graham said, it was more about the fact that they were better players because you can't go, Leeds are amazing and like that. You can just go, it seems all right, but he just wants to play with better players. So Robbie Evans, MD, Farke spoke to him. Everyone seems to go for it in a club. We often tried our best and didn't come off. So that's all we can ask, really, isn't it? Because it was an over the top. It was an elite effort, elite sign, and it would have been an elite signing. But it didn't come off. You got to Champions League. So
it was a very ambitious attempt of a transfer.
Yes.
Very ambitious. I love how you just subtly dropped in there that you sponsor and edit the Inside Edinburgh podcast with Graham Smith. So whenever you see anything tweeted out there, Adam's potentially got some sort of info on that potentially. So our inboxes might be flooded now, Adam. Thanks for that,
mate. Any news, Adam?
Any news?
Oh, well, James Justin isn't happening because it was in the podcast and didn't get released. Leeds are not in for James Justin.
You're joking. That's a whole section gone, that now.
Well, I've ruined that, sir. I know I've gone early on that one, but yeah, that's the only real news in there. But
I'm not liking this.
And also, if anyone's noticed, we've got a new... by the way, I did the new background last week, and I took my own haul or whatever, but this background looks absolutely... I don't know if you agree, Matt. This looks absolutely class with the yellow, the blue.
Yeah,
it does look
looks really good, mate. Yeah, you always do well with this stuff.
No, it's not about... I just say it just looks really good. Like, I'm not worried about me doing it, but it just looks
it's your job, mate. You need it to look good, though. It's your job. You got OCD with it as well, let's be fair.
Well, yeah, I am annoyed you can't put a box in a box properly, but here we are.
Give over. You must watch my solo stuff on this channel, mate, and just think, what is he playing at? You must.
Yeah, but look at you can see the whatever. Yeah, no, all good, lovely.
Stop being picky. But yeah, so obviously transfer rumours are sort of dropped off for a few days since the Iiggore Piao. We had a few days where I weren't too asked for doing any videos either because we're not really out there. Then the Canoose came out, was it yesterday or the day before? A transfer. I don't know if you've looked, Adam, a little bit more into where you think he'll play and stuff like that. But I mean, he's a talent. Is he 21, 22 years of age? Moroccan. So if we are quick, we've been going to AFCON Sunderland. I'm sure I'll come in for him. So if I want him, best get in there soon. But I think he's a great player. He's played on left a little bit. He can play. Listen to what Locke said. Locke's the Leicester fan, the infamous Leicester fan, one on Joe's stream, and he says he can play as a high 8, he can play as a 10, he can play out on left. He's played predominantly as a 10. And it's a really interesting one because we've spoke a lot about the 4-3-3 in pre-season being used. Are they going to move away from the 4-2-3-1? Canoose gives him option to do both. But for me, is he an out-and-out left winger? Would he be coming as a 10? What's your thoughts, Priestley, on the player anyway, before we sort of dive into what you think about the formation?
I thought he was one of Leicester's better players last season.
Yeah, 100%.
In a team that didn't really have that many good players. I know they got relegated and they got battered most weeks, but he stood out as one of the 2 or 3 that were actually decent. I actually think he might come in as a 10, which leaves us to get a left winger on loan, maybe.
All right.
I've seen these rumours pop up with Solomon again.
Yeah,
I think it's because he's not been playing in pre-season.
Has he not? Has he not?
I've every time Spurs have a friendly, I see people saying Solomon's not in squad, so make of that what you will. But I think he's injured. So,
but he's not going to play at Spurs. Kuvalevsky, Son might leave. Tell, they bought Kudos as well. Madison in the middle. He's not going to get. I think there's lots more I've missed there as well. Brennan Johnson. There's so many wingers there. He's not going to get near that side. But I think he wants higher than Leeds United, which again, whatever. By the way, I know you both like Solomon, and I think you wouldn't mind Solomon. For me, I don't think he works in that 4-3-3 as well as he should. I don't think he's that player. I don't think he's the style of play. He's a really good player. He's slightly better than the wingers we've got at some of the things they do, but I don't think he's a difference maker in terms of what he is. He's profile, because he's not quick enough anymore. He's not going to run in behind. He's not a mate. He's not going to I don't think he's going to stand up fullbacks in the Premier League and just burst past them. I just don't think it's going to happen. So then you're not left with a lot as a player coming in for me. And that's the 4-3-3 that I'm thinking, because the 4-3-3 the wingers got to do, it's got to be all end products. It's got to be all end products, and that's where he doesn't really fit for me, Solomon.
Remember when I asked about El Canoose, and then we started talking about Solomon?
Yeah, no. As I was talking about Solomon, I was thinking you had El Canoose in your eyes. So El Canoose, yes. I mean, he's a very good player. He's a very good player. He's really young. He's got a really high ceiling. I think he's a bit of a 10. He's a bit of an 8. What I think he would offer is he could play in that 3-man midfield. And because even you saw in the last friendly, sorry, I'm going to place. See, in the last friendly, Ampadu Stack and Tanaka played ahead of him. So I think El Canouse can do that role, because you had 1 4 and 2 8s almost in that situation. I think that's how we'll play it. I think we can play it different ways. But in the current 6, including Aaronson as those centre midfielders, if we're including Aaronson in the 3, there's no one really that's that creative. There's not going to be a lot of goals that come from there, a lot of creation, or there's a lot of ball progression in Stack, but a lot of creativity not. So I think he does add something different. And even if, say, he's not going to play 10 necessarily, but we can change the way we play the 4-3-3 if we get him. That's how I see it. So I think he could play, I say, one of the more advanced 8 roles, and we can play it through him a lot more. That's how I see it anyway.
Do you think? Yeah, I agree. To be fair, mate. Do you think Priestley? He's got a release clause of 24.5 million. There's rumours that Palace are sort of looking at him, but they're having to wait for Eze, maybe move on. Do you think it's a case of, if you want him, Leeds, go do it now?
Yeah, definitely. Don't need to be waiting in case other clubs can do it. The Eze one's weird, because Arsenal could trigger his release clause now, but they don't want to. They want to see if we can try and get him cheaper. Which again is baffling, because he's got a release clause. There's no guarantee you're going to get him cheaper.
No, I agree. There's a lot of dominoes to fall at me in there. Obviously,
same every season though. You need to wait for someone to buy someone to replace someone.
No, you do. So it's like buying an house, mate. It's currently a chain, and we're having to wait for dominoes to fall for us to maybe bring these players in.
Look at the whole Iiggore situation.
Yeah.
Liverpool aren't going in with a second bid for him, which is their fault, because they bought Ekatike, who was Iiggor's replacement at Newcastle.
It's a mad situation, that.
It's nuts. They bought the player that would have allowed them to buy Iiggore.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. By the way, sorry, the whole dominoes thing is sort of, so you're right, we've got away from full, but that's because of the type of player we're aiming for. If you go and get the championship player, you're the top of the dominoes, you're the first trigger in that, so it's fine. When you're trying to get the players above your station a little bit that other clubs that are higher up the food chain want, then you do have to wait. And I think that's where we are, and that's the players we have to go for. So it's fine. You look at our attacking options; they're not terrible as they are. They're not terrible. Obviously, we do need stuff to get players. Don't get me wrong, but we can get by.
Adam, if every single player we were linked with or we wanted to sign, we could just get click of a fingers, you'd have to question the quality of the player. You know, it's like we moaned when we have international, when it's international duty and everyone goes away because it's a problem. It's a problem because you want international players. You know, it's like now you're wanting to be in the you're wanting to be in the running for top players, which means you're going to have competition. Competition is everything. So if I walk down the street with my missus, mate, and a few people look at the missus, it means I'm doing well, and that happens quite a lot because I'm punching and I don't mind at all. I'd rather that than no one look at all, mate. Look at Peace laughing, look at him chuckling away. But you know what I mean, mate. We are fishing in the right waters now. You saw a couple of deals get done behind closed doors. Not much talk. You're the Metcher, your Bornows, who've probably come in as a bit of squad depth. Although I would say the Metcher's looking very good in pre-season, really staking a claim currently for maybe starting without any more additions. Currently, he's probably right in mix for starting. And like you said, those deals got done pretty easy. I don't think they'll have had many people looking at them. They might have had a few options still in Bundesliga, but there were probably no Premier League team looking at them. And there was a little bit of criticism for Leeds for going for those sort of players, which I sort of agree. If they're good enough, why is no one else looking at them? But some players, for form, for injury, for contract situations, just not many people looking at them. I think Metcher and Bornow have been really smart signings, which you have to make smart signings. You can't just keep doing what Sunderland are doing and spending 20 plus on every single player. There has to be a little bit more to your dealings than that. And I think we've done really well. We spoke about last weekend, didn't we, about bringing in 7 players for in and around 70 million quid, which probably allows us another 70-ish million if we wanted to splash out on the last couple, which it looks like we have got the money to do. It's just, when can we get these players in? Because so far we're getting that cohesion. You can see the new players already hitting the ground running. It'd be really nice to get these players at the top end of the pitch, maybe getting friendly and a couple of weeks in with boys before the Everton game. But I've got a feeling the top end of the pitch is the hardest bit to do, the most expensive, and probably come down to wire, Adam.
Well, that's the thing with dominoes. You've only got to look at Muniz. We bid for Muniz early in summer, and it's a bit of a weird bid because we probably knew it wasn't going to be accepted. But it's almost like, so I don't quite know how we've done it, but he's been our first choice all summer, but they were waiting on Fulham getting another striker in. So we have to wait. I think the whole food chain thing and where Leeds sit in it is important, and the players we're aiming for. We could have got Jack Clarks. We could have got Calvin Phillips on loan. The Bornow thing was just opportunistic, I think, because you're buying a sub, it's easier. But by the way, there's been hundreds of Premiership players bought over the years with one club bidding on them that have been very good players. Hundreds and hundreds. It's not alien concept. All the elite clubs all want the same players now. They all want Isak. They all want Etike. They all want the same players. They're all, and all the players going up for 100 million. So they're fishing their own pond. To say the 5, 6, 7 up there, kudos for 60 million. Paulinho from Bayern gone to Spurs. So they're all fishing their own little pool. Our competition actually is quite niche. There's not a lot of clubs really looking at what we're looking at, particularly 8, 9. But we're probably one of the bottom of those 8, 9. And that's the problem. So we have to wait. But that's okay. That's okay. By the way, we'll have 4 or 5 strikers. Same as missing out on the winger. Like we'll have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 other options that are still very good players. So it's fine. It just takes a little while.
Yeah, I agree. Priestley, do you think? I think there's maybe 3 positions left to fill, or maybe 4 if you look at left back, right back. But fullback cover, winger, striker, maybe a 10. But for you, where are we mostly lacking now? Where do you think is most important position?
Striker.
You think?
We definitely. I mean, I get what you're saying about Metcher looking good in pre-season.
Yeah.
And I think Pirro will exceed expectations as well, but we need a top-level striker.
Yeah. Even though you rate the other 2, you still think we need one.
The problem is top-level strikers cost money.
Yeah, they do.
I don't think we'll get striker in until we get some outgoings.
Yeah, I agree.
I think we'll get rid of some fringe players, and then we'll see movement on a striker. I don't even think it'll be Muniz.
I mean, neither.
I think it'll be someone else.
Yeah, someone we've not even spoke about at all.
Better, probably.
I hope it's not better. Precy, are you surprised no one's been moved on yet? The Gelhards, Greenwoods, Schmitz of this world. Like, I would have thought 3 or 4 would have been moved on by now, personally, but it's just not happened, has it?
Yeah, it's weird because the list came out quite early on of players that you'd expect to move on, and players that we just haven't got rid of anyone.
No.
I would have thought Melia would have gone by now.
Yeah.
As soon as we got a new keeper in, he'd be gone.
Yeah.
I agree. Let me just shout out Robbo Jr., How are you doing, buddy? Hope you're looking after your
Hello,
dad. And he's looking after. But no, but no, I think when you look at that striker position, Bruce, you probably are right, because technically, I know Joseph's been sort of ostracised. You've got Bamford, who we want to clear out. Joffy is an attacking player. Greenwood's an attacking player. Harry Gray's there. There's a lot of top heavy up the pitch sort of players still on the books, and like you say, we're probably are gonna move on. Joseph, Joffy, Geldart, Bamford. That's probably 4 to leave, and there probably is something in that. There's a lot of money tied up there. Pure profit for Joffy. Greenwood being a young lad. Wages of Bamford and Joseph and Joffy as well. It'll combine to be a decent chunk of change. So I do think when you look at the squad, there's a lot of players in those positions still on books, even though half of them at least are to depart. At some point, they have to depart, and the numbers have to do some numbering, don't they? You can't just keep buying and buying and buying, because I think, we may have bought, in comparison to a lot of other teams around us in Prem, I think we've bought numbers-wise quite a lot. 7, it's a lot. I bet we've probably had the least outgoings. We've lost one on loan, a free transfer, but we haven't sold anybody. Where's money coming from? So it's, I think you're bang on right, and that moves us on to the Joffy news that sort of come out today. I don't know how credible it is. I don't know if Priestley, we've been a Rangers fan as well as a Leeds fan. If you know a little bit more about this deal, tell us what you know.
It's Peter O'Rourke. It's probably bullshit.
Right, okay.
See, Adam's got something against certain foreign journalists. But you'll post a link in group and it'll just go, yeah, it's another bullshit merchant.
That El Kona or whatever his name, God, the ones that just pick up on what I think Ben Jacobs is a bullshit ass as well, to be honest. I think so many of them are that it bores me, but there's very few realistic actually ones that get news. All those ones that go, this player has been linked with this club want this player. No, they don't. The agent said they do, and you're just repeating it. I think they might have contacts with agents and etc., but trying to wade through it.
Ben, can we cancel that show that we're going to do tomorrow night, mate? Yeah, you've just been called a twat on my stream. Yeah. Take care, mate. Bye-bye, buddy.
Romano has ruined...
Send me love to your grandma. Bye, mate. Bye.
Romano has ruined transfer windows for everybody.
Yeah.
He has. Hasn't he just? He has. He's ruined the gig for everybody.
For the fact he's just getting his info direct from agents.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, but he's very good. Everything he says, or 98% of what he says, is always true and always happening, because he must get fed a lot of BS as well, and he somehow weeds through it to what is actually true. There's something. I know he gets paid by clubs. And there's all sorts going on there, but yeah, as soon as he gives a here we go, it's done, isn't it? There's no one else like that other than the guy at the Athletic.
He's also weirdly obsessed with the years players were born. I've noticed. He'll go so and so player born 2004. Like, why not just put his age?
It's funny, isn't it? How some people are proper like drawn by some. Obviously, I watch a lot of content creators here. I love how Conor McGilligan will go with sign Sean Longstaff is 6'6". I just love it how they just pick a number out. And it's always about 5 inches.
The height annoys me more than anything else. When people just
height, mate.
It's absolutely.
I said it on one video. I said Longstaff was 6'1". I had someone going, he's 5'11". I was like shouting me capital letters.
But they're wrong. He is 6'1". He is 6'1". I can
Yeah,
Graham Smith measured him. Is that what it was?
Yeah, you told me. Yeah, voice noted me.
But the Joffy one, lads. So obviously, whether we think it's credible currently or not, when you look at Rothwell going up there, the obviously the ownership link, I think it's a great level for Joffy to go to. So I mean, we're all fond of Joffy, I assume. Sometimes a player just doesn't sort of get that trajectory. Going back 4 years, honestly. I said he'd play for England going back 4 years. I thought he was going to be the next big thing, and obviously he's got nowhere near it. Whether that's managers not seeing enough in him, whether he's just not that level. I think going to Scotland will be a great signing for Rangers. I think it'll be a great move for him. I don't know if they're in Europe next season, Priestley, but they have Europe most seasons.
They're through to the third qualifying round of the Champions League.
Right, but they're in and around it, aren't they, every season? So he's got that. It's a big move for Joffy, that, and I think he'd do well in Scotland. I don't know if there's a little bit of shit house we can do with a fee where we can sort of.
I really hope we sell him to him for 10 million quid.
Yeah, I mean, fee wise, I've heard 5 million. I don't know if that's just hearsay, but I'd expect it to be in and around 3 to 5.
I'll drive him up there for 5 million.
Yeah,
and it's pure profit, lads. Pure profit.
Yeah, yeah.
But do you think he'd do well up there?
I think he'll do really well up there.
Yeah,
I think Joe Rothwell's an amazing signing for Rangers.
Yeah, unreal. Yeah. He'll light it up there, mate. Player of the season. He'll light it up.
He's so talented.
I think Rangers will do treble next season.
Now, yeah, take those blue glasses off, mate. That's a bit much. That's a little bit much.
I'm only saying that just in case Sean Healy's in chat.
He's not, mate. He's not. I'm sure he'll watch it back tomorrow and put something in group chat. Anyways, just a quick shout. So currently on 63 likes, there's 151 people in building. So thanks so much for your support as always. Really appreciate it. Please smash a like on and please subscribe. I'm currently about 7 or 8 off 3K. And not one for numbers really, but I'm going to shout it out continuous on the stream. I'd love to hit 3K while we're live. I've never hit a milestone while being live before. That would be amazing for all the hard work I've done. Adam's done. Priestley's been in my corner fighting with me every step of the way to get it up there. And yeah, it'd be great to hit that on a late night Leeds, wouldn't it, Adam?
Yes.
Anyways, so the James Justin thing, even though you've sort of like slammed it today or slammed it about 10 minutes ago, which I'm gutted about. Obviously with Isaac Schmidt, news last week that, well, this week saying that he's going to get moved on. I don't think it's been official again. We think he's going, don't we, to Werder Bremen. We haven't seen him officially go, but I think it's going to happen. It leaves us very short at fullback. We assumed he would be, very short. We assumed he'd be the cover at right back and left back just based on the fact that we had nobody else, even though we've seen him more advanced since he's been at the club. James Justin would provide cover on both sides, a little bit like Schmidt. He's a right-footed, better left back than right back, a bit like Byram, I think. He plays more at left back, even though he's right-footed. Loads of injuries, ACL, etc., but decent player once fit, and I think he had a relatively injury-free season last season. Decent Premier experience, still a good age. I would have loved him, but if you're telling me it's not on, it's certainly a position we are looking at and we need to strengthen. I mean, I'd love to get your thoughts. Do you think we're going to go a left back and a right back as direct cover, or do you think we're going to get someone like Byram who can play both roles and just bring in the one man?
I'd love to see two. I'd love to see a left back and a proper right back come in.
Yeah,
we were linking with that guy earlier. I don't know if Priestley can shed more light on that. The Italian, is he Italian? The guy that came up with...
Yeah, Zamotta, I think his name is.
Yeah. Was that pied off, or is that actually a possibility? Is any no one?
I don't know. The guy has quite a few. He has about 10,500 followers on Twitter. He says he's an Italian sports journalist. It came out of nowhere. I only saw it because someone reposted.
Graham Smith apparently on the same thread put a thumbs down for it. I've just seen it on Leeds.
He didn't tell me, did he? So
he didn't tell you, mate. So you're not in loop as much as we think you are.
Also, on the fullback backup thing, I'm sure I read or heard somewhere that Bornau can play right back.
Yeah, apparently he can. He's not going to give us what we need. I don't think he's going to go marauding down that side.
I'm not suggesting for 1 second he should be our right back backup, but he can play there if needed.
I think he'd be a worse right back than Struijk as left back.
I think it'll be similar levels.
Yeah. I think it'd be slightly. I know what you mean. I think you're probably right. I think it'd be slightly. He doesn't look as good on the ball to me as Struijk is. So I think I can't see it. Like you watch Bogle. I say he engaged in. He's obviously a good defender. He's really quick. Really quick's really important because you've got to get up and down the pitch. He links the midfield. He links the attack. He's sort of everywhere. There's no cover for that in the squad. Nothing like it. And that's what you got to cope with in the Premier League. You can't have one player get injured and it changes the squad. It changes. Like we had last year, say James was on the right wing, so marauding down the right all the time. Nonto comes in, plays right wing, and he pretty much plays inside left. He just pisses off somewhere else, which is fine. As that's who he is as a player, but you shouldn't just change everything because one player wants to do something slightly different. So you've got to have similar profiles, similar mindsets, and playing the formation and the positions in the same way in your subs. It's why I want a left-footed left back as someone that can actually overlap and cross the ball. You watch Byron play left back; he can't overlap and cross the ball. He has to turn back every time. So straight away you pause the attack, and he's not exactly a great crosser either. So I mean, and Goodmanson as well. He's really and Bogle. They're both really secure on the ball. So you can play it to them in tight spots. They'll keep the ball. They'll play it inside. They'll go down the line, whatever it needs to be. But we haven't got any. Byram's not Byram really should be fifth choice. He should be covering the front four, as in the backup fullbacks as well. So if he's first choice behind any of those, I think we're quite on thin ice there. Really,
I've seen quite a lot of fans actually be really worried about that because what we're just over 2 weeks out, 16, 17 days out from Everton, but that's still a decent, length of time that I don't think. I personally think it's come out like a lot of stories get leaked when Leeds probably don't want them leaking. It's come out that Schmidt's moving on, and he hasn't gone yet, has he? He's going to go. He hasn't gone yet. Why has he not gone yet? Because Leeds haven't brought anyone in yet. 17 days. It's far enough away for us to bring in a couple of players in that position, 100%, but it's still a little bit too close to just have Byram as covering 2 positions as your backup. So he'll probably go when we either announce someone first, or he'll go and we'll all think, right, we're announcing someone tomorrow or whatever. I think it's going to be fairly close between him leaving and bringing someone else in. They won't risk it. It's a little bit too close, 2 weekends away in it for Byram to recover, and that's it. So I think that's why it's sort of out there. Everyone knows it's happening, but it just hasn't happened yet.
I think the problem is this is what we're competing with, isn't it? Newcastle turning down 100 million for Isak, and we need 2 backup fullbacks for 7 million, and we're sort of all potting around. This is what we're competing against. Like it's really unfair. Like we're playing endless catch up in this, like massively so. For a Premier League club, Goodmanson at the value of 10 million, he's probably better than this, don't get me wrong, should be a backup fullback in the Premier League. That's just how it works. Like the value of these players. It's all about value, of course, but you should have 2 £10 million left backs. But of course, you can't do all that in one window. So and actually, it's quite an interesting point. What do you do? Do you buy someone, jack of all trades, master of none, and just hope it works? Yeah. And then one injury and Byram's in the backup for both left back and right back? It's really thin. Because Bornau, can play right back. Struijk can play left back. But we're practicing like Bielsa days of just Dallas covering it. Well, Dallas is quite good at it, to be fair. But whoever, Struijk playing left back, or Ben White playing DM, whatever it was, that's not the way of the world anymore. You've got to have cover. Premier League has 100 really good players that barely get any minutes in a season. Just the nature of it. They sit on the bench most times, just waiting for their opportunity, and it rarely comes, or it comes sometimes, whatever it may be. But you've got to have those players in your squad, and it's really hard to do that all in one window. But we've got to find a way. But let's go and get a £4 million left back and a £4 million right back. Well, they're not good enough, so you've got to buy good enough ones as well. It's so tough. Really tough.
Yeah, no, it is, mate, 100%. And we put the title of this video, didn't we? Something along the lines of, it's been a good window. 2 more, though. Is it a perfect window of a question mark? And obviously, not every single player we sign is going to be a worldie, Priestley. But if we do get the fullback cover in, and then do bring in 2 quality additions in the positions we've sort of said up top, it feels like, without obviously, in hindsight, you can get to end of the season, then look back and make a real judgment on whether players were good enough. But based on what you're seeing right now, if we bring in a couple of really talented players up top, it's not far off a perfect window as a Leeds fan. It feels like a really good window. I mean, Anton Stack and Longstaff, I know you're really pleased with them signings. So far, so good, Priestley.
Yeah, I think, like you say, if we can get fullback cover, a proper top-level striker, a decent left winger, I think it's a 10 out of 10 window.
Yeah, I'd have to agree.
Because not every player we're never going to be every player we sign we're going to start, but you need depth.
Yeah,
and that's something we were lacking last time in the Premier League. I saw a photo from our first game back in the Premier League in 2020, and we had, I think it was like Jack Jenkins and Niall Huggins on the bench.
Bonkers.
And it's just like you can't do anything with that. I mean, we went on to finish 9th that season, so maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you can do it with depth like that.
Or Bielsa can.
I like Farke, but I don't think Farke would be able to get that team maybe even safe, let alone 9th. I won't lie to you.
But no, by the way, sorry, mate. To be fair, Niall Huggins is now a first-choice Premier League fullback, pretty much at Sunderland's.
Yeah,
fair to him. He's kicked on. But yeah, absolutely back then.
We'll see how he does. But no, you are right, Priest. That bench is going to look very strong this season. The players we brought in, if they don't start, they're all international players, bar Longstaff, who's got more Premier League experience than most players have, so and decent experience as well, top level experience. So I think we've definitely targeted the right sort of areas and right sort of players. So it's just at the minute, I think we're probably on about a 7 out of 10. I'd rate it that highly. I actually think currently, if this side started against Everton as it is, I'd still have as favourites to win home at Ellen Road with Piano up top and Ramazani on left. And the fullbacks as they currently are. Over a season, you're going to get injuries and suspensions, so that team wouldn't be enough. But I think for the bottom 4 or 5 sides, And if we're talking of finishing anywhere between 17th and 15th, 17th and 14th, if everyone were fit on paper, that 11, I think Piao can get you goals. I think Ramazani, honestly, I look at that side and think it's on its day, it'd give 5 or 6 teams a decent go there. So I think when you consider we've still probably got 3 more, maybe 4 to bring in, lads. If we're all fairly confident, we'd be able to beat your Brentfords and your Evertons and your newly promoted sides with us. With what we've got now, we're in a good spot. And I don't think I'll be alone on that, Priestley.
I mean, well, first of all, it's bold to assume that Ramazan is going to start ahead of Jack Harrison.
Do not do this to me, lad.
He knows.
There's something in there, definitely. There is, sadly. There really is. Farke likes him. Farke spent ages talking to Harrison through the first game. If Harrison starts tomorrow, it's going to be interesting with the fans. But I was going to say something, but I completely forgot what I was going to say. What were we talking about before that?
You can answer that question. You can answer that question because I don't know if B&G saw it or not. But
oh yeah, no, he's not on. No, it's not happening. It's a long story about me, the only one that's watched the Inside Ellen Road podcast of any Leeds fan in the country,
in the world.
Yes,
Adam's got contacts with Adam's got contacts.
Basically, we sponsor the Inside Ellen Road podcast, and so we do all the editing. We work with them closely on it and stuff. And they recorded the episode this week, and the sound was absolutely buggered. So we tried to fix it, but we couldn't fix it. So I'm the only one in the world that's actually watched it. And in that, I think the host says James Justin, and Graham goes, no, that's not no. Leeds aren't in.
Which doesn't mean it's 100% not happening because Graham doesn't know everything. But based on everyone talking about the James Justin thing, and you actually having a YEP journalist who sits in press conferences and been out at pre-season saying no, it's probably highly likely it's not. But
yes, absolutely. Who knows? Yes. It's absolutely 99% absolutely not happening. Absolutely. But that's what I was going to say. I want that righteous one said it. I was looking at the chat when I was saying about the fullback backups. Loans is something we could tap into, and we haven't at all. And I'm surprised we haven't yet. And it's not even come up, has it? But I guess that may be later in the window when you've got a few spots to fill in. You get a couple of young players in, very good players still, for loans with small loan fees, cover X amount of their wages. And that's a good way of topping up the squad at the back end, probably. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happened.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think at minute, I do believe we've probably got £150 million war chest. You know, when you look at the rumoured deals to come, I expect us to be hitting 150 bit time we get those couple of top end players in, you know, or close to. I think while we've had a decent chunk of change in pot, we haven't had to look there. But like you say, when you get to back end, maybe deadline day a few days before, and you've sort of got your squad somewhat like, and you've spent the majority of your budget, you may be looking at it then and thinking, oh, there's a 10, 15 million pound rated youngster who's not going to get no game time, but we can get on loan with an obligation, or just a straight up loan like a Ben White deal where, you know, just for a season to give us that cover. I think that's why I've not heard much of that yet, because, you know, they're still in pre-season. There'll be still young lads trying to force first team football at their Premier League clubs. And maybe in a week or two from now, they'll know they're not going to have that. And like I say, we've still got probably 50, 60, 70 million we can still go spend. But 100% right that I think we'll look at that towards then because we've got the spots available for it.
Speaking of loans,
yeah,
this is one I put on my Twitter the other night. So just a simple yes or no. If you could make the right deal that would benefit both clubs, would you take Jack Grealish on loan for the season?
100%, yeah.
Yeah, of course you would.
100%.
Because I genuinely saw people say they would rather have Raheem Sterling on loan.
I think you might see people in chat maybe say that.
I think a lot of people haven't seen Raheem Sterling. How poor he's been for a long, long time now. He's lost a bit of pace. He's lost a bit of what's the word? I think he's got lost the hunger for it. Like he's at Arsenal, he looks like half the player now. It looks like defeated every time he comes on.
Lost his confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%. I think
Well, it's like his career's just going to peter out now, doesn't it? Just fade out.
Whereas Grealish would come and be our best player. He just would.
Yeah, 100%.
He just would.
Do you think he'd fit in, Adam? I'm not sure how you'd view his playing style, you know, because it slows it down a lot. He cuts back inside where you've got like the players we want them to be quite dynamic, quick getting past them. How do you think it'd fare?
I think his football IQ, his ability. I know I was saying about Solomon earlier. He's a similar sort of player. He will slow it down slightly, and he's not, even less so. He's not going to sprint in behind. But Jack Grealish is such a good elite footballer with the football brain, understanding of football, I wouldn't see any issue at all with getting. I think say he'd come in and be our best player, because players like him, same at Villa, and he would come into us, and you start playing everything through him, so he'd look better and better at a club like us. The ball would just go to him all the time, just naturally.
Do you think he'll go out on loan as well?
He might do, but what's he on, 350 grand or something? So yeah, he probably will. He'd probably go to Germany or somewhere, I don't know, but yeah, I can't see. Maybe he'll stay here. Can't see. I don't know. Maybe in Newcastle. Well, Newcastle got Gordon. Maybe not. I don't know.
I'm surprised Villa aren't back in for him.
Yeah, Villa. Yeah,
it's a madness when you think even if the parent club covers 50% of his wages, you're probably still talking 175 grand.
That is it once again, isn't it? What the market we're suddenly competing in is ridiculous. Kevin De Bruyne was earning 400 grand or whatever it was last year. Haaland be earning that now. Like Haaland be earning what, like say, half, a third of our first team's earning by himself. It's what we're competing against. It's still we're such a small fish in terms of finances in this league, and the amount we've got to catch up.
We're talking about having a war chest of 100 to 150 million. You've got Liverpool spending 120, 130 apparently on Isak and one player. And we're having to try and bring in 10 players for that same money to compete with these sides. Maybe not top end, but to stay in a league what has these teams in it who have these these powers that be, and it's mad. From being in Championship for 2 years, and then you come back up, and I sort of forgotten about all this stuff, and then you get into transfer window, and you're like, wow, and you see wages rumored, and I mean Leeds are, like you say, we've been fishing in the market of 10 to 20 million pound players currently, and less than that. I mean, what contracts are we offering people? 30 grand, 40 grand, 50 grand a week. It's minnows in terms of that top 10 and upwards, in it. So.
But you're absolutely right. Calling it a war chest, it's more like a bathroom bag or like a wash bag or something, isn't it? It's not. It's literally nothing in the Premier League. That's the problem. But by the way, the whole 150 million pound thing, I think is really interesting, because I don't think that's about cash. It's about how it's amortized. If you sell Joseph for 10 million and most of it's net, then that pays. Bornau's can only cost us about 1 million a season. Gudmundsson's going to cost us 3 million a season. Even Bajol's going to cost us 4 million a season. So Joseph and that 10 million pays for all of those three in terms of transfer fee alone for the first season. So the 150 million war chest or bathroom bag, whatever we're calling it now, isn't really. It's not. I wouldn't be surprised if we went and spent 170, 180 million. Someone else come like El Canoose suddenly go, oh, he's more of an 8. We need a left wing and a striker still. That wouldn't surprise me. Really? I think the right players come available. Yeah, I think it could happen. That's from no information on anyone, by the way, from anyone, by the way.
Let's, because you've got some time again to do a nice little slide for us. Let's get into our sort of squad depth and have a little look-see at what we're sort of looking at and get your thoughts on this. So, when is Melia going to move on? Because I haven't heard of that.
Soon, hopefully.
Yeah. But depth-wise, we're all happy with Perry and Darlow's backup, aren't we? I'm assuming.
100%.
Apparently, we turned down a bid for Darlow last week.
Oh, really?
Really?
From an unnamed Championship club.
Mm.
I like Darlow. I think
it was Berron that posted it on Twitter earlier. Said we turned down a bid, but they're happy with him being number 2.
Yeah. I think Darlow's a good number 2. I think he's solid. I think he's really solid. If Darlow's come in for Perry being in for 6 games, I wouldn't worry. I think he's I've worried if Melia was coming in. Darlow, I wouldn't. I think he's a really solid goalkeeper.
He's looking good as well in pre-season.
Yeah.
And they're really focusing on him as well in the training. The saves he's made. They've really made a thing of sort of honing in on him, when I've not seen much of Melia in terms of just the video clips and stuff of training, which they tend to do sometimes.
Plus now we've got a number 1 goalkeeper that can punch the ball further than Melia can kick.
Yeah, well, I don't think anyone's going to moan about Perry punching either, like they did Melia. What's he punching it for? Oh, yes, a goal. Never mind.
I saw him punch it out of his own hand, and it went about 70 yards.
Oh, incredible. You know full well in about 3rd Premier League game, he's going to throw it up. A striker's going to run in. He's just going to deck him. Red card, banned for 8 games, penalty. You know full well that's going to happen, but it'll still be entertaining. It's, by the way, Perry. He's not far off the most exciting signing for me. I think the personality he brings to the side can be a really important experience. You see sometimes, defenders don't defend very well. He has to make a save. He'll stand up and have a go at them. I think he's a personality. It's exactly what we need. We've not had that, because Melia's not a personality and Darlow's not really. actual personality behind them, Pickford style. Actually, not having to go at everyone endlessly, but actually making some noise, being encouraging, but having to go when he needs to as well.
You know what it is as well, Adam? It's probably the biggest upgrade in terms of positions as well. So, if we go and bring in a Muniz, is a Pirro to a Muniz as big a jump? Maybe it is. Is it as big a jump as Meslier to Perry? I would argue not. If you look at having a steady Eddie goalkeeper here, and then you've got Meslier way below that line and Perry way above that line, I think the gap between what we had to what we're getting for Perry, I don't think we'll get a bigger jump anywhere across the pitch, mate. And that goes for a Gruev to a Stack. That goes from a Ramazani to even if we'd have got Piao. I think the jump from Mez to Perry is the biggest quality of jump we'll have in any singular position in this squad.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think he'd be Brazil's number one if he didn't have the two best goalkeepers or two of the three best goalkeepers not ahead of him in Edison and Alisson. He's that good. He's getting in the squad now. He's just
he's knackered for starting for Brazil, though, isn't he? Right. You're right.
Yeah, no, he's miles off it in that in terms of that because the players ahead of him. But he's a really exciting signing, a really good value. And it's another one to say like about competition. There wasn't a lot of competition for him, but it's a goalkeeper, of course. You've got a goalkeeper, you haven't. You either need a goalkeeper, you don't. So it's quite a limited market in terms of clubs you could have gone to. But I think he's a brilliant signing.
Yeah, 100%. Let's move on then to the defenders. Bogle, right, Goodmanson at left, Barham's back up. Piao, I assume, would start a road on. Then you've got Bornau and Struijk as back up. If we keep...
Not for Everton, he won't.
What's that?
Not for Everton, he won't start.
Who's that?
Piao, he's banned, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, yeah. So, yeah.
Which I think it's ridiculous, by the way.
It's going to be interesting to see that, though. We'll find out a lot when it comes to that lineup because I've seen some people which I thought were crazy to start with. I've seen a few people say for the Everton game, does he put Ampadu at centre-half just to give him less of a headache in midfield, if you get what I mean? I hope he doesn't.
Yeah, that's a dangerous game, is that, though?
Of course it is. Of course it is.
Because then Piao will come back in game after, and where do you put Ampadu then? You put him back in midfield where you've got the same headache.
100%. Or... Ampadu plays brilliant in defence. We keep a clean sheet. We win 2 or 3-0, and then Piao stays on bench. It's a madness.
But looking at this is exactly what I was talking about. You need 8 good options. You need a starting 4 and a backup 4, and then even the first game, Piao and Bornau out, so you're down to 6 defenders in the whole squad, senior defenders. And again, nothing else. I love Sam Byram, same as you, May. So shouldn't really be slating him. I think he's a really good defender, and he'll have his moments in the Prem as well. I think he'd be really useful. But in general, if he's one of your first 5 and only 5 defenders in that first game, we are really, really light there. And that could be Piao could suddenly go. Any of these could be out for Struik's injury record, Bornau's injury record. Before you know it, you're down to the bare bones, and so you got to have those extra 2 in.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It's 2.
Do you think there's any chance we lose any of these players, Priestley, to another team, like a Struijk going out? What do you think?
I think that all depends on where we are with PSR towards the end of the window.
I think it goes beyond that.
I could see us Struijk leaving.
I think it goes beyond PSR though, and beyond the club. I think if Struijk, from a personal level, this is playing devil's advocate. I'm not saying I think we'll fight tooth and nail to keep it because I think as it is, the depth there, other than the fullbacks, centre half, you don't need to touch that now. We're done. And you've got Ampadu as that other option. But like I look at it and I think, will we get to a point where, if obviously other than Everton, but he'll already have a feeling, I assume in pre-season, that Piao maybe is ahead of him. I know Struik's playing, everyone's getting minutes, but I think the fan base know that Piao's coming in to start. We all know Rodon's probably being the better of the two. So we all think, I think, if I want to put a poll in, 90% of people would say Rodon.
I'd be very shocked if our centre-back partnership wasn't Rodon and Piao for most of the season.
Exactly. So if we think that, Struijk will think that.
And that's based on nothing other than the fact that he was like quite a big target quite early on.
Yeah.
I heard his name mentioned before we'd even got promoted.
Big name signing for us. So I'm sort of looking at it from Struik's point of view. Would he maybe fancy another challenge going somewhere else where he's maybe fancies chances to start? Or do you think, bearing in mind injuries and stuff, I still think Struijk will play quite a lot of games just based on it being Premier League. He'll get minutes.
As well, isn't he? So
what's that?
he's the vice captain as well. So
yeah,
he's obviously well thought of within the squad.
100%.
Yeah.
It'd be a big character to lose. Don't get me wrong, but I sort of look at it and think if we get closer to deadline day, he'd be one I'd be worried about going and just having to clamber around to bring a replacement in, and I'd hate that because he's such a valuable member of the squad and a very good player as well. And people forget that he's a very, very good player. But yeah, Adam, have you got any worries about Struijk moving on? Are you happy that he'll stay?
I mean, we definitely need 4. I think Struijk's quite a chill guy, and I don't see him kicking up a fuss. I think he'd probably even see how the year goes before he worry about whether he's going to get in and out of the team. I think he'd back himself as well as a player, and I think where we might, or people complain about Farke not changing the team much, etc., not rotating, Struijk has got the starting position in the first game. So if he pulls up a blinder in that game, then because he will start, it'll be him and Rodon versus Everton. You know, I can't see any other way. So he's got the opportunity there to go in, play really well, and make the shirt his own. Yeah, Struijk will still. It's quite a big shout actually now. Oddly, Struijk will be, by the way, still our best attacker of a corner header in our squad. Like he's
really.
Yeah,
we bought land of the bloody Giants, and you still think Struijk will be best one?
Well, here we go. Struijk's taller than Bijol. I don't. Yeah, there you go. Struijk's taller than Bijol. That upset a lot of people. He just is. So,
do you agree with this, mate? That Brookie said here. Hope I'm wrong, but Goodmanson looked our worst signing. Do you agree with that?
Madness.
I mean, maybe, but I wouldn't. If he's the worst of the best bunch, it's okay.
Yeah,
a very good bunch. I think Goodmanson will prove to be a really safe, secure left back. He's brilliant in build up. He's brilliant on the ball. He's quick. He's rapid as well. I think over time. By the way, we I'm terrible for it. Llorente was new Rio Ferdinand at one stage. Do you remember that? He had a couple of games where he's good on the ball and did a couple of last-ditch challenges, and then he makes one mistake and he's shit. Of course, he was shit, but it's like it was so reactive. I say like Goodmanson might make a mistake in the first game, and the amount of people all over, he's shit. Players are here for 3-4 years. There's loads of time. They will make mistakes. It's going to happen. So one or two players will make mistakes early on, and they'll be called shit. But Goodmanson, I think, will settle in, and he's proved himself to be a very good fullback. So just give them all a chance. And I think Bijol's proved himself to be a very good centre back.
Yeah.
The mistakes will happen. They will lose their player sometimes. The opposition might score from it. It's the nature of it.
Yeah. So
and with Goodmanson as well, he'll probably fare better than Firpo, where Firpo just gets bored in matches and decides I'm playing 10.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So goalkeeper, we're over at moon really. We're first and second choice there. If it's
also, can I just raise something? One of the comments I saw then.
Yeah.
I
know what you mean.
I think it was Tommy.
Yeah.
He said, if you're starting Bogle at right back, then we're cooked. Horrible take.
He is a Nottingham Forest fan. He's a Nottingham Forest fan.
Fair enough. That's no excuse, though.
Yeah. I didn't know he was a Nottingham Forest fan until he said something earlier about that Silver guy from them. And he said you should take him off us or something like that. So he must be a Forest fan. But yeah, he's always in here trolling, aren't you? Always.
We can't all have players rolled out by gunpoint to sign contracts, can we? Like, we haven't all got that as owners. So
that owner and Gibbs White interview looked like the most hostage situation I've ever seen
in
my entire life. Before every time he answered a question, he looked over to see if he were looking at him.
Oh, funny, right? So yeah,
can I just say quickly? Sorry, on Goodmanson, he will look crap in loads of matches because he's going to be against Saka, Salah, whoever, all these right wingers, the best players in the world, the 4, 5, 6 best players in the world in that position. He will look rubbish some games.
I mean, remember how much we loved Firpo the last 2 years, and I know he's improved and he'd be better now probably, but look how bad he was. So like, there is something in that. But we are happy with the goalkeepers. We're happy with the starting defence. It just needs back up in the fullback areas, and then moving on to the midfielders, which I think is probably the strongest midfield. Obviously, I haven't got every newly promoted side to hand over the last 10 years, but that's got to be up there as the strongest depth in the middle of the park for a side who should be down the bottom end. That's some serious depth. And I think you can look at that screen of those 6 players there, and overlook a few names and just think, I don't know much about him. If you've done your research on Stack, right, and if you're not blind to Sean Longstaff because it's called Sean Longstaff, and you actually know football and you actually look at the numbers, these two are absolutely class players for a newly promoted side.
100%.
Longstaff's a great signing.
Looking at those
Great
6
signing.
or 5 in particular, lads, it looks a little bit of a cheat code for where we are in our journey to where we want to be. Right now, I'd say our midfield, and probably as wingers, bar one, is probably ahead of where we probably should be or where most newly promoted teams are. You look at a Burnley and you think, yeah, that's probably, you're going to struggle. You look at Leeds and I think that midfield, there's a couple in there, don't get me wrong, who've got a point to prove, a Gruev, a Tanaka, Amperu potentially. But I think with the momentum of how well they played last season, the two that brought in a top draw for where we're at, I think they're way above a relegation level side. The midfielders alone, lads.
Absolutely, 100%. By the way, and I want to talk about the signings, Stack, Longstaff. But imagine you had added El Canoose instead of Aronson into that list. The variation you'd have in that, then, like what you could do in those positions and how you could interchange in those three, be phenomenal. Longstaff, anyone's criticised, he's the most sure thing of anything you could buy, and you know exactly what you're going to get. And you know exactly what you're buying, you know exactly what you're going to get from him. You know exactly his player he is, you know exactly how human he is, you know exactly how good he's, and you know exactly how good that's all going to come across in the Premier League because he's done it for years at a Champions League side, by the way, as well. This is 12 million is phenomenal.
With players like that as well, I always a lot of opinions I form are based on how gutted the fans are to see him go, and there's not a single Newcastle fan that's happy he's gone.
No,
they're all gutted.
Single one.
They can't believe they sold him for 12 million quid as well. They can't believe the fee.
No. What I mean, that's it. In the modern day, people turn down 100 million for Isak, 12 million for Longstaff. I know it's a difference, but don't get me wrong, it's a ridiculous fee when the amount everyone else is going for. And I spoke to Newcastle fans, Arsenal fans, Spurs fans. A lot of people mentioned to me about Longstaff. Oh, you're Longstaff. That's a great signing for a promoted club. Like, incredible. I've not had anyone say otherwise, other than a few Leeds fans be worried about it.
I've seen a few people turn the noses up at him. And I don't know why. No one can give me any solid reasons why they don't want him.
No.
He's a solid player. He's got Premier League experience.
Yeah.
He gave PSG players run around in Champions League a couple of seasons ago.
What do you reckon of this statement by Michael? Midfield goals, great additions, which we'd all agree with, but no goals added really. Do you agree with that?
That is a fair point. It is a fair point. But they are all playing as Farke's midfield, whereas 2 or 3 will all play behind the ball, unless there is an El Canoose to come in and play that slightly different role. I agree with that. A lot of goals. That's why the front 3 they've got to cook. They've got to get a lot of goals. They've got the front 3 have got to score about 40 goals between them, and that's a big ask. Oh, sorry, the front 6, I suppose, not the front 3. Where the front 3 in whatever variation is. By the way, let's talk about Stack for a second. Stack 6'4", machine, quick, gets around the pitch. And by the way, he's a brilliant progressor of the ball. And because when we were signing him, I said he'll play either. Everyone said, "Oh, he's got to play the 4." No. He's gonna play more Declan Rice role either side, up and down the pitch. It's all legs. He'll link the play, and I think he'll have license to score goals as well and arrive late in the box.
Yeah. I think as well at set pieces, he'll probably come into contention for a couple of goals as well.
That's something we need. Someone that can take set pieces. That's
where I was sort of going to go now. Looking at these, obviously, we have got the wingers to come and the forward players, but I would say looking at the squad, that's one area we haven't got. That would have been an Iiggore Piao. I would have expected. We know
Gruev and watch Jack Harrison not being able to beat the first man.
Exactly, and I know he's still here.
I'm going to go mental.
We know he's still here, but I don't even speak about Jack Harrison. But we know Piao would have been taking him, but obviously that's not happened. We know Gruev has taken, whether you think he can do it well or not, he can take him, but he won't be on pitch, I don't think, as much. Ramazani, it can take him, I suppose, but he may not be on the pitch as much. It's definitely something I think we've got to look at when we bring in. Can El Canoose take him? I assume he can take him. I hope.
I don't think he does in general, but then there might be a better taker at Leicester at the time. So
yeah, Brownhill would add goals to our midfield. He would. He sort of volunteered himself to come to Leeds, didn't he, yesterday, which was quite funny.
I thought that was a mistype on the hashtag until I actually read the report.
Yeah, I like Brownhill for free. I'd have him, but I just don't think we need anyone else for me in that sort of midfield, but you may disagree.
On goals, by the way, we've got to score 45 plus goals.
Yeah.
Something like that. That's what that's what it equates to in the Premier League to be a team finished 17th and above, 16th and above. So 45 goals. You're looking at probably 5 goals in this midfield. I would expect, I would expect this midfield to get 5+ goals. Tanaka will get 2 or 3. Stack will get 2 or 3. Longstaff will get 2 or 3. Aronson get none. I'll need to 2 or 3 for Aronson. Then I've corrected myself. But yeah, there's goals in this midfield. They haven't got to do loads of work. But that's what I say. That's where it comes to the forwards. Have got to do a lot of work.
Boss value the opinions here. I know you do, mate. I know you do. But I feel a little bit like you're overhyping around this midfield. It's okay. I think an okay midfield.
I like Boss. He's a smart guy and he speaks a lot of sense and he thinks about his opinions. Like unlike Sean.
Granted, none of them are a Granit Xhaka, but
yeah, no, I just think it's great depth for where we are.
I love the combativeness. I love what this Ampadu, Stack, Longstaff, Ampadu, Stack, Tanaka. Ampadu, Stack are the 2 first for me out of all of this. When you're playing a 3, for me, is that the same for you guys? Is Ampadu automatically getting in?
For me, yeah. Although I can't wait to see what he does. For me, he does just as captain. I don't see, right. Listen to this, lads. Right. Oh, captain. Ampadu. Vice captains have been Meslier and Struijk at times. Struik's not going to start after the first game. Mellier's not going to start. Can he really drop Ampadu as well? I know I'm not saying it means everything just because you're captain. It shouldn't always be, just because you're captain, you give him right, you start. But knowing Farke for the last 2 seasons, I just don't see him dropping all 3 of them to bench. I just think he'll have to start Ampadu. And I do think there's better footballers there, potentially. I would like to see Tanaka, Stack, Longstaff if we went with a 3. I think if we play a 4-2-3-1, I don't see how Ampadu gets in that 100%. I don't see how he plays with 2 in midfield with Ampadu playing. It's a bit of a mad one for Ampadu. I don't get it because, if you ask me now, I say he starts, and you ask me to write a team down, and I say, fuck off, I don't want to do it. So I won't lie, I have no idea.
There's arguments both for and against. All of them. Well, I say all of them. I mean, Ampadu, Tanaka, Stack, and Longstaff.
What a place to be.
Exactly. It's nicer problems to have. You'd rather have 4 great midfielders than just have 2 that are going to start every game, and then you've got no one to change it.
No.
With the 4 we've got, you've got options.
Yeah, absolutely agreed. I agree with that. I think people will learn very quickly what machine Stack is and is in the Premier League. And I think Stack will stand out. I think he's this good. It'll stand out in some games in the Premier League against lots of different sides. I think he's that good of a midfielder.
Do you think it's first pick in that midfield?
Yeah.
Even for Everton, or is he a little bit of longevity for the ones Farke knows before they come in?
Well, you've seen it before. Tanaka didn't get a look into Gruev got injured, did he, last season, or Anthony, whatever one it was. Yeah. But I can't. Stack's such a good footballer, and he will be a Farke signing. Farke would have known about him for a long time. Obviously it's a club sign. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing about that. But he will, like Tanaka was a Farke signing. So I think Stack offers something completely different to everyone else. Longstaff's sort of the same variation. But I think someone just said in the chat as well, Stack can take corners, free kicks. He's got a pretty good set piece on him. But last thing you want is your 6'4" guy taking a corner. Like, you got to make it make sense. So, but I think he's number 1. I think he will be very quickly, and probably from Everton onwards.
Yeah. Nah, I know what you're saying, Jamie. But that's same for every position and every player, I suppose. Losing his head over not signing Piao, we wouldn't have known if he'd have been a Prem player, and we might have spent 40 million on him. So I get what you mean, but I just think on paper, for a newly promoted side, it looks strong. You think you take Stack and Longstaff out of there and stick Rothwell in, and that's what we had last season. We were well happy with that. Going up, I've seen sides go up with worse midfielders than that and give it a good fist. Look at how elevated that is now, bringing them to in and even losing Rothwell, who probably his best midfielder at times last season, right there with Tanaka. And people,
definitely best set piece taker.
Half of the fans, a lot of the fans on this channel spoke quite fondly about keeping Rothwell. And if we'd have kept Rothwell, we wouldn't have had one of these two. So I think on paper it looks good.
But all we can talk about as well is how confident we are, and it is on paper because
100%.
we are. If we are going to a free midfield, which I can't see anything different at the moment, as we might play 4-2-3-1 occasionally, but I think it'll be free midfield most of the time and a variation on that. All we can talk about is how confident we are in the list of players. How we actually play it and how it's executed is really, really important. How it works with the wingers, the fullbacks, the forward, linking the play between midfield and attack, or defence and attack. Like, it's really important. It's all got to be coached because you don't get this right or players are out of position slightly. It looks crap regardless of the players. So, yeah, 100%. Because you say, sit on paper, it's two different things. We're just talking about how good these players are and the profiles we have to make up of a midfield. To say we've got to see on grass is fine, but it can work completely differently. I've seen loads of teams with really good players. Bielsa's team was so much better than some of its parts. Manage to make your team either better or worse than the sum of the parts. So it's until you see on the pitch, absolutely. But that's not what we can't judge that. We're not seeing it. So we are talking about two different things there.
Yeah, 100%. Let's move on. Top end at pitch, forwards, James Ramazani, Nonto, Harrison, Metcha, Gray, and Pirro. You've got Gray in there. Nice little story if he want to have some sort of part to play this season, it really would. I expect him not to play any Premier League minutes. I don't know what you think about that, but obviously you put him on there because he's there and he's performing at a minute. But
I agree.
Again, I think Harrison out, at least one more in, and I am happy with how that looks, lads. Quickly before you jump in, let me just read this out. Our usual co-host replaced today by Priestley. Will Call Light said earlier, evening all. Sorry I can't be with you tonight. Priestley, I've got an eye on you. Please like and subscribe. Nearly at 3K. Yeah, so we've got 201 people currently in the building. We're on 109 likes. Thank you so much. Keep smashing the like and please subscribe. And we are one off 3K, 2,999 subscribers, which is absolutely phenomenal. Thanks so much for all your support. Really appreciate that. And I hope you're having a good shift at work, my friend. But yeah, moving on to this, Priestley. Where are we lacking?
A quick note on the forwards, because I know obviously you've left a couple off.
Yeah.
Joseph and Bamford.
Yeah.
What I thought was hilarious earlier is I turned over my calendar to the month of August and it's Joseph.
Is it? Always happens that, doesn't it? Always happens that. Nightmare. Rip it out, mate. I don't think he stays. I think he goes. I saw a loose rumour that they were looking at him again with Everton for another loan. I don't know how true that is. You see that much shite, don't you? I'm not too sure. But if you take Harrison to the side for now and look at that with the view that we're bringing another, which I expect to be an elevated sort of level of player with who we've been looking at, I'm quite happy with that. I ain't going to lie. I think Metcha's great. Play at 10, play at 9. Pirro, I think will prove people wrong. And I said last season, our four wingers, if we went up to Prem and kept all four, I would have been happy with that as a newly promoted side again. I think they're good.
I saw a quote, I think it might have been from Graham, that said the targets they've got aren't really much better than the four wingers we've currently got. And if we can't find a winger that's better than Jack Harrison, I will show my ass in Primark's window.
Oh, I love that.
I also following on from that, I saw a post after obviously the Women's Euros that said Chloe Kelly would get in most men's teams. I'd have her ahead of Jack Harrison.
Well, of course. On
the left wing.
Yeah, no, that's
he can piss off Andy's mum as well.
Yeah, it's are you a little bit worried, Adam, that Jack Harrison may stick around?
Yeah.
Are you worried though? Do you not want him here, obviously, but you think he may?
Well, it's too I think worried. I mean, so what you look at a 7. I think 7's what we need to end up with, probably for 3 positions. If we're talking about 4-3-3, so there's obviously if anyone you buy has got to play. So if you buy a forward, Gray drops out to the under 21s and then plays a few cup games, etc.
Yeah,
I'd imagine. So that's fine. And then you got to get a winger, and so one of them's got to go. They just will. You're not going to have 5 wingers. So, and Harrison's the obvious one. The concern for me is suddenly Ramazani gets talked about as in a loan offer comes in. Suddenly that's in the public domain for no real reason. It's come from the club that. So why have they done that? Why have they done that? They sort of playing their hand a little bit there, sort of saying he might be available. That it wouldn't surprise me at all if Farke wanted to keep Harrison over Ramazani, for example. Would it you, Matty? I know we're both massive Ramazani fans, but would it really?
Mate, if that actually happened, I'd honestly lose my shit. And I know it's about the team. I would even struggle if Harrison were playing over Ramazani if we were winning games and Harrison were playing well. I would still have some form of what the fuck is going on. Because I'd just be like, well, Ramazani been doing better than that anyway. Like I was last season with Solomon. I was doing that last season with Solomon.
The main issue you've got with Harrison as well is that he's on like 100 grand a week.
Yeah, we've put ourselves in some really tricky situations, haven't we? With length of contracts. We did it with Bamford, massive money, big contract. We did it with Harrison. It was a really weird one with Harrison as well. He's still got 3 years left, wasn't it? 2 or 3 years left. We give him
he signed a 5-year deal the season we went down.
He's not been here.
Do you know what it is though? That was one of those deals, wasn't it, lads, where we did it to protect the investment. And if you look now, when you look at Jack Harrison, like as if we ever viewed him to be an investment. Do you know what I mean? Like we'll put a big contract on him and we'll worry about him next season. And there's money sat.
And then he went to Everton and stank out the place for.
Yeah, I don't think he stays. I think he moves on. The fact that we were linked with Piao and we went all out for him like we did and we missed out and we're gutted about that has made me more hopeful that Harrison moves on and we bring in a top player. If we'd have never been linked with Piao and I'd seen Harrison in every game so far, I would be a lot more worried. I think it's a fact that he wants Piao, which means he wants another left winger in. We're aiming a little bit higher. If we wasn't aiming as high as we are currently for that quality caliber of player, we'd have probably already brought in somebody maybe of a level like an Imagine or someone who maybe has a point to prove who no one else were looking at. Maybe he'd already be playing and Harrison had already be gone. But they're wanting that little bit more stardust, that little bit more quality, which means we're having to have Harrison in about just to make numbers up, just to give him, hopefully getting him in shot window, which isn't really happening. But the fact that we know we're going all out with 30 plus million for a left winger should put to bed any fears really that Harrison's going to be here. Surely that's true. But moving on, Ramazani, obviously happy with him. Nonto, I've got a feeling looking at him in pre-season, and I don't just want to reel that line out that a lot of people are doing. He'll do better in Prem based on what he did 2 years ago, and I sort of feel like that a little bit. But what I'm seeing with my eyes now, I feel like Ramazani and Nonto at the end of last season were the two players I looked at in particular, lads, and thought they're not ready for their holidays yet. Because they haven't played. I mean, Nonto played a lot of minutes, don't get me wrong, but I feel like a couple of them towards end stepped it up a level. Ramazani certainly did, and he finished very fresh. I think Nonto looked very good that last month at season as well, and the season probably ended a bit early for them in terms of where they were probably going. And I think pre-season they've just carried on. They've started at a very high level for pre-season, and I actually think, lads, Nonto is going to have a massive part to play this season. I think we're going to finally see that Nonto that teams were rumoured looking at when we first got relegated for signing as a Premier League player.
I think Nonto's a class player. I think you're absolutely right. I think Ramazani's a class player. I think James is a class player. I'm interested to see all three of them how they work in the Premier League, because I think James coming up, like a lot of clubs won't expect he's got how much he's improvement. I mean, and he's a perfect fit for that 4-3-3, the direct winger. I think the important thing with our wingers is with a 4-3-3, you can work your way out the pitch, but actually sometimes you need to get forward quickly, and you have wingers that can stand up against their fullback and go past them. Now, Nonto can, Ramazani can, James can, Harrison can't. So where Harrison quite fits into it all, maybe it's some sort of dream world where you go, against harder teams, we'll play Harrison, he'll just track back and play as a second, play slightly ahead of the left back. Maybe that's what's Farke's thinking, because I can't think there's anything else in it really. Because he just, as I said earlier, the wingers and the forward have got to be all. The wingers in particular, this game in the team, this formation, if playing 4-3, have got to be all them products, and they've got to get lots of goals and lots of assists. James, Nonto, Ramazani, I can see it happening. James in particular, Harrison, I can't. So yeah, the makeup of that does. If we get a left winger, Harrison's surely got to be the one to go. I can't see any other. And then there's really good depth there, because at the moment out of that 7, we've got one in. As I say, Gray goes out, new forward comes in, new winger comes in, goals and assists. Harrison goes out, perfect. That'd be really, really good. That'd be perfect.
Yeah, I agree. Priestley, out to touch on forwards, mate.
No, I agree with what he said. It's a one-in, one-out situation. I would like to see Gray get some Premier League minutes, like in games if we're 3-0 up, for instance. Bring him on
How
for
many of
5
them will there be?
Loads, what you on about? Very loads. HMS Pistol League has left the port.
Yeah, we wish. But
Pirot,
yeah,
by the way,
I mean,
Pirot's an interesting one.
Pirot,
Yeah,
a very interesting one.
yeah.
I don't know if I rate him a little bit too high for some people's liking. I honestly, I really like the player. Again, pre-season. I know it's pre-season. The thing is, if you lose him, it's a Madden pre-season. If you lose it pre-season, yeah, we're seeing Sunderland fans do it. It's just pre-season. It doesn't matter, right? If you're winning at pre-season and players are looking well, some people have a different look at it. So I'm looking at it like, wow, this is good because I'm massive on momentum. And some people will tell me it's just pretty, like you say, and I understand that. But I think Sunderland, losing 2-1 at Hull, losing 3-0 against Hearts, like that's not a good start. That you're already getting a culture of losing, and and regardless of what I say this all the time with my young, 6-year-old is playing a friendly tomorrow. They don't know whether it's a league game or a friendly. Like it's just a game of football, and I know they're kids, but it's just a game of football. There's no way do you want to go on a pitch and walk off losing. You just don't. It's just not what you want to do, So I understand the result is secondary really to the connections and the cohesion and all that. But if you're losing, it means the connections and the cohesions and all the stuff you're working on training ain't fucking working. So it does matter, does pre-season. That's where you get the edge on your competitors for me. So if you're having a rough season, say Everton have a poor pre-season and Leeds don't lose a game, for me, fuck what bookies say, because they won't look at pre-season, but it gives us edge going into that game. So for me, it's massive. We've got an all right first game against Everton, but a couple of tricky games. If we can go into them, a couple of Arsenal knew a couple of tricky ones. But if we can go into them games, lads, right, not losing even if we draw tomorrow and then we beat, but if we can go into them on the back of 5 undefeated or something, with that team, I know under 21s have lost one, but that's massive. And that proves the connections of the new players is working. So that's where I don't like just fobbing off pre-season like a result doesn't matter. For me, it does matter. Every result. And you saw me last season, FA Cup matters. Every result matters to a player. And if it don't matter, then you shouldn't be playing football. So I think as a fan, if we're winning pre-season, if we go tomorrow and we win 3-0, nobody will come out there and go, we're only friendly, we'll give us a fuck. If we win 3-0 at home, the crowd will be up. If you see a Metcha play well, you're looking, all of a sudden you leave and you're so much more confident than for Everton. So it is a big deal for me, lads. Sorry to go on.
Winning's habit and losing's habit.
100%.
I've seen Leeds United. I remember, I think it's Peter Reid. The season we got relegated from the Premier League in 2002, whatever it was. We lost every game in pre-season, I think. And everyone, doesn't matter. It's pre-season. Alembe will come good. Kamara,
that's a niche reference if ever heard.
Yeah, I like that. I'm proud of that one. It's, but they don't. You've got to. It is. You've got to win games of football. You've got to get used to winning games of football. And what you train, you want to see on the pitch. Villarreal tomorrow will be a really good test. They finished 8th last season. They've got a couple of really good wingers. They've got a good team. They've got 1 fourth, I think's there. A few other players we know from Premier League days, but they're a good team. I don't know how strong they'll be tomorrow, but it'll be a good test. So if you can go and beat them by any margin, you're doing pretty well, because it won't be a 45-minute game either. It won't be like all changes at 45 minutes. It might be 70 minutes, 60 minutes. You might make 3 or 4, whatever, both of those times. But in general, it's going to be more of a proper game of football. For this one, the AC Milan one. So I think it's really important. It all looks like cohesive. If we're doing 4-3-3, it all looks like everyone knows their part in it. And actually, you see results on the pitch, and you actually have good results against the opposition. Massive.
Yeah, 100%. I do think you'll see more of a likely lineup tomorrow as what you'll see for Everton. And obviously then fine-tune it a little bit more if it does. I think you go out pretty much full strength for me for what we've got currently tomorrow, knowing that you then got the AC Milan week after a fine-tune out, you're not too sure on. It gives you that, but you've got that backup then the next week, haven't you? Which it could be an AC Milan B team. I don't know. I will be there. I can't wait for it, and I know you will be too, Adam. It'll be great. But yeah, I'm really happy with what we're seeing. The ambition, it goes from top, doesn't it? The ambition at the top of the club. The players we've brought in look to have hit the ground running. The players that have come up with us look to be firing already. the manager looks confident. I think, you know, when you're hearing his press conference, well, not press conferences, but his interview and his talking, I just feel like every single player, the manager, the coaching staff, everyone in the boardroom, I just feel like we're getting everything right at the minute. I think you spoke about last Late Night Leeds, Adam, that Underwood's doing good stuff as well in his first sort of challenge in this role. He seems to be doing stuff, and people may say now and hit him with that Piao stick and say we didn't get that deal done. I think there's a lot more to it than Underwood. It'd be Underwood's fault, obviously, but I think from the top to the bottom, where we are right now, not lost in pre-season, the players we brought in look good. I don't think we could do much better, to be honest. Going into the final couple of pre-season games, it's all very positive temperature within the fan base, Adam.
Yeah, no, I think we've already made 2 or 3 of the best signings promoted clubs made for a long time. I think Anton Stuck will prove that. I think Perry will prove that. I think the forward might be better than all of them, whoever it is, and I think the winger might be better than all of them again. So, I think we the 2 biggest signs to come, and I'm really impressed by the way as far. It's like you said earlier, like it's a 7 out of 10 window. Of course, if nothing happens between now and the end of August, it becomes like a 4 out of 10 window because it looks like a relic. It doesn't look quite, or a 5 or 6, whatever it is. There's still work to do. The club knows that. And it's all about this what we're looking at here. 2 changes there, but the whole summer's been really good so far. And the Piao thing, the whole club went after him. It just wasn't done. That's the nature of it. He chose like Preseason said earlier. He chose a Champions League side. Well, there you go. Like, it's what it is. Yeah. It could have been Crystal Palace. He might have chosen Marseille. It could have been Brighton. He might have chosen Marseille. He wanted if he wants Champions League, he wants Champions League.
I've seen today a couple of comments have come in as well, lads, saying about Sesko to Newcastle looks to have happened. It's had is it Tavi the area while we've been on air has announced it's happening. So that surely rules them out of the Rodrigo Muniz.
I don't know. I think that means Isaac goes to Liverpool for probably about 120 million. I'd imagine once they think they can negotiate on that, and then whether they get, but they do want Vissa. This is the one they want. So hopefully, but of course, like we talk about Muniz, I think they want Muniz because of the Premier League experience. I think 35, 40 million because Fulham still need to get a striker as well, but it probably rules them out. But I think Muniz is that good. Other clubs might start coming in for him potentially.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
They might want another striker as well.
There's a couple of Italian teams looking at him as well.
Yeah. By the way, I think Muniz is perfect, and I think he gets those 12, 13 goals we need from that main striker next season, and leads the line very well, holds the ball up, and can run in behind. He's got it all. So I think he's a perfect profile, and he's got the experience. He's done it in the Premier League already. I think there are other strikers in Europe, probably better value, but they're unknowns. And I don't mind an unknown, but if you can pay 5-10 million more and get a known entity in up front, then do that for me.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Speaking of available strikers, did anybody hear the Calvert-Lewin line?
No.
That we actually did approach him and speak to him earlier on in the window.
Oof, really?
Guess how much he wants a week?
250?
150 grand a week.
Oh, why did you do that thing, Adam, where people go, well, so then you look at that when you say actual thing. Why didn't you say 100 grand, Priestley?
I didn't
150 grand a week he wants.
Until you said that, I didn't know I did look a twat. So there we are.
Oh, I love it. Is there any chance we could be Pido in the 10 and the Metro in 9?
I said this earlier. I was talking to someone at work about it, and I said it wouldn't surprise me if we went down that route at some point if we can't get a recognised 10 in the window.
Wouldn't surprise me either, if I'm honest. And I really like Pirro when he drops deep now, I didn't used to.
Based on the assumption that we go for a left winger and a striker, if we get those 2 and don't get a recognised 10, Pirro in the 10 would. I think it's an option. I'm not saying it's a decent option, but
it's like as you say, it's an option, but it's like an option last 20 minutes of games potentially. Throwing both on, I think starting game. I can't see many games we go. We have luxury of Pirro and the Metro in the team at the same time. Really, as 2 strikers. Earlier Late Night Leeds, I said that the Metro can play wide in the 4-3-3. I believe that as well, but I think so that may be the case. I don't know. Potentially, Pro dropping in, I think works quite well, but I just can't see the player being ahead of him necessarily. Then,
well, what's wrong with going 4-4-2?
No. I don't think there's not wrong with that. I've seen started doing it. But the thing is, Priestley, as well, like, there's all this crap these days about rest defense and defensive formation, and when you've got the ball formation, and in play out. There's so much going on, and how you build up as a team, who drops where, just make an angle and pass it to them. Then make an angle and it gives everyone. Bielsa, I'm sure, you make triangles all the time, give people two options, go from there. He simply, there was lots more fluidity to it. So much spoke about it these days about football, but as I always say, it's a really, really simple game. Which buying big people to head it. Doesn't get much more simple than that.
Look at that, Bosnas. Stack isn't just the best midfielder, he's the best outfield player at Leeds United, and we'll get Souters very quickly looking to relieve us of his services. That's how highly Bosnas rates him.
I think he's right. I think he's spot on. That's how highly I rate him as well at the moment. Yeah,
I agree on that one. I
think he's a machine. I think he's really, really unique. You don't get, it's hard any midfielders like him. His ability, technical ability, the size of him, his aggression, and he reads the game brilliantly. He can progress the ball. He's a good passer. Like, I know I'm bigging up like bloody Ballon d'Or now, but I think he is that good enough. I think he's unique in terms of because of his physicality with what you get as a footballer.
Yeah, Pirro for the last 20 if we're losing, Aronson last 20 if we're winning is not out of the question, says BMG. I'll tell you what, mate, if Aronson sat on that bench, he'll get minutes. You'll probably see Aronson coming on every game, to be honest. I don't see him being bombed outside fully, me. I really don't. And it's been quiet on Aronson.
Really. Right now, he's the only 10. And that's been said by, I think, a few of the reporters have said it. He's the only 10 in the squad.
But I think even if we don't play over 10, Adam, coming on left for last 20, I think he'll play. No,
I agree.
There's been no talk of him going out, has there? There's been no talk at all about him.
No, we can't. Like PSR, he's just not viable. I think we need 10 million plus, and it's not going to happen.
No, I agree. Brozier to Burnley, thoughts? I mean, has that happened or is it going to happen? I'm not too sure. Thing is, I know he is. But he's at Southampton, Chelsea player. He's been at a few places, hasn't he? But I don't mind him. But to be fair, it doesn't scare me.
His injury history.
Doesn't scare me. Yeah. It's not what he is.
Did he do his ACL about 18 months ago?
Yeah, he did. He's been injured. He's been a lot of clubs now. He's a good player, but it's all like he's supposed to become a very good footballer, just still hasn't done it. And but every club he goes to, it's like this is gonna be his breakthrough year, and it doesn't happen.
And it's like 3 or 4 years onto that journey now, isn't it?
Yeah. Sunderland signed that kid from Chelsea as well, haven't they?
Who did? Sorry,
Sunderland have signed that striker from Chelsea as well.
Oh, Guy, whatever the hell it's called. Yeah,
Mark Guy, how you pronounce it.
Matteo Joseph's backup. In the under-21s, whatever he is. Yeah, it's fine. Like but I think on Brozier, he's the most promoted club buy you'll ever see.
Yeah,
you take a risk on a player who's been around the Premier League a few seasons, might suddenly catch fire, hope for the best. Burnley if Burnley don't finish 20th, then Preseason will put his arse in the Primark window. There you go. That's no
mate. Brozier will probably sign on loan for Ipswich next season when they get promoted.
Am I allowed to use the Priestley Primark thing for me as well for like things like
it's all right because I'll say this on stream now and Sean Healy will probably pull it up when he watches it tomorrow. But I said if Pirro scores 15 goals this season, I will do a stream with Matty wearing a mankini.
I'm getting good numbers at minute, Priest. I don't want that. Please just score 14.
People be asking for the lights to go back off then.
So we'll wrap it up soon, but I just wanted to bring this up. We spoke about the wingers and the 10s and all that stuff, but Bosnas, because he's a good lad. Unpopular opinion, this team needs a creative 10. I assume it's an unpopular opinion because he's basically staying without a creative 10. He thinks we'll struggle. Adam?
I think it lacks a little bit of creativity, but I don't think it has to come from a 10. I think it can come from an 8. It can come from a winger. It can come from 2 wingers. It can come from a forward. Like creativity, to have a creative 10, you've got to have a lot of the ball. You've got to be slotting it through. You've got to have wingers running in behind. You've got to have runners off the ball. There's a lot to happen for your creative 10 to be creative. El Canoose in Leicester, really good footballer, very creative footballer. He's got 3 assists because the team he's in, the game state, the ability he has is undeniable. But if Leicester spend 60% of the time in their own half, 70% of the time in their own half, then what's he going to do? So it's fine saying, and I think that'll be similar for us. I think we'll be better than them, but I think the creative 10 thing, I think what we're going to go with is running power and fast players. I don't think the creative 10 comes into it. I think it's all about progression, getting up the pitch. Sometimes get up the pitch very quickly. I don't think it's about creativity necessarily, oddly, but we'll get creativity still from the wingers. Like we'll want wingers that can cut inside and shoot, score goals. We need goals. Like we discussed, Matt. We discussed at the end of last season, and we haven't really had it before too much, other than Snacker. Goals from nothing, goals from corners, goals from shots outside the box. You need all that sort of stuff. It's not about slotting the ball around, I don't think, for me. I agree on Boss Nass, everything he says. I know what he's saying, but I don't quite agree on that.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. BMG, talk us through your Creator Cup goal again, Matty, 30-yarder, wasn't it? Well, you all saw it. If you didn't see it, go watch my highlights back.
Do you reckon the ball's still there?
I reckon so, yeah. It was a 30-centimetre screamer with slotting the ball in the net past your best pal while he's laid down next to you. It's right up there as one of my favourite things I've ever done, to be fair. And then, actually, it's second, in that game to watching my best pal hug the post while Lockie bent it in past the other post. But, we won't go there. Anyways, thank you so much for your support, everyone. We've just hit 3K. Honestly, means a lot. Thank you so much. Priestley, my best pal. You knew I told you I was doing this channel, and you've sort of been there on the journey. Adam with this show, massive part of it as well. You and Sean. It's great to hit 3K. Numbers aren't everything, but it shows that we're doing something right on here. The support. Let's be fair as well. Just want to touch on something about the channel. The chat is always just a positive place. Like you look at other chats and other platforms, without saying going into names and stuff. There is some chats that deviate off, and it can be quite toxic at times. This is a channel that for me I've sort of gravitated towards, or you've gravitated towards me, and we've got a really great community here, don't we, Adam? And I know you living down south, you don't have Leeds fans to speak to next door and stuff like that, and.
I see there a chat here, yeah, absolutely.
You do, and you've really enjoyed like having the WhatsApp group with lads, and obviously coming on here on Late Night Leeds and being a massitive part of this and doing all the bits and pieces you do for it. So it's just great to hit another milestone, and it shows we're doing something right, doesn't it? And loads more to come, pal.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, for me, like you say, I sort of stumbled across YouTube. So I watching Joe, watched a bit of Connor, then start watching Matty, and then come on a subscriber show. And it's like, being a Leeds fan down south, there's hardly any Leeds fans down. Well, there's no Leeds fans around me. Certainly there's like some half-hearted Leeds fans that say they're Leeds fans, but they're not. But yeah, getting involved in the show and everything is great. And actually, like you say, I had the chat open here, and there's always lots of good discussion and lots of good chat going on. And actually, it's really interesting reading it. And it's nearly always like. It's really interesting debate all the time. Like, so yeah, being part of it's great.
Yeah, no. I want to touch on that, Priestley.
No, I agree. When you phoned me up and said what your plan was, I thought it'd just be a laugh, but I actually find myself quite enjoying it.
Yeah, to be fair, I thought
I am well out of my comfort zone.
My wife also thought just thought it I don't know. It was a bit of a crazy idea, and sometimes you just got to stick to your guns, aren't you? And just follow through on what you think. And I've built something really good here, or we've built something really good here, and I'm dead proud of it. So yeah, 164 currently watching. That's over 200 in tonight. It's been absolutely fantastic. Sean working nights. I think you'll all admit drafting Priestley in as cover tonight has been great cover.
Is Duncan the one that lives in St Albans?
I'm not too sure, but he clearly lives somewhere down south.
Says Duncan.
Pods have really helped pass the time this summer. Yeah, you know what it is, Kershaw? We spoke about it a bit, me and Adam as well. There were a dip straight after we won the test. Straight after Plymouth, there were a dip for it. And Adam felt it. We didn't do a Late Night Leeds for about a month. Adam weren't asked for making content, and the numbers sort of suggested that across the board. A lot of people just needed a break from it. And then the last 3 or 4 weeks, it's really ramped up again. You know, the channel's doing really well, getting more people involved. And yeah, it's just brilliant. It's a brilliant space again. And I think the fact that Leeds have done business early, got enough bodies in, like I say, unbeaten in pre-season, it's building up to be a really good start to the season. And I just hope that feel-good factor can continue, because I know we had that Wembley defeat over a year ago, but the last 2 seasons has been pretty much like I say with you, Priestley. I see you every week. We go to a game. We sit separate, but we go game, we have a pint, and it's been pretty much a cuddle and a hug and a big embrace after every home game, hasn't it, pal, coming away, because it's pretty much been win for the last 2 seasons at home, there or thereabouts. And I just hope we can maintain some sort of fortress at Ellen Road, Priestley, even though the level of opposition goes, through roof.
Yeah, I mean, they say the 40-point mark is where you need to get to, but I think probably 11 wins, 4 draws, and keep us up. That's 37 points. But that means we lose like 20 odd games.
It's mad. It's mad, yeah.
Which is mad when you think about it, because I'd be happy losing 20 games if it meant we stayed up.
Yeah. But losing a game of football, you're never going to feel good walking out of a stadium. So it's a mad one, really. But you are right.
But you've got to put it into context.
Yeah. I'd like to get, while you're on here, mate, before we wrap up, give me a prediction for where we finish, Priestley.
4 weeks ago, I said I'd have been happy with 17th. Based on the signings we've made, and I think we're going to make, I reckon about 13th.
30. So that's a lot more than 37 points then.
Yeah. But I said 37 points is what we would need to stay.
Yeah. Adam?
We'll finish 15th. And we'll be safe 4 weeks before the end of the season.
I'll take that.
I agree. Bang on with Adam. I keep flirting with 14th and 15th. I keep changing my mind. I think I'm fucking 3rd other day. Now I think I'm 13th other day, but I'd say 15th and with no sweating on that last day.
Yeah, if I didn't go higher, I'd lose my Happy Clapper title. So
that's a good point.
Yeah. You need to keep that intact, mate. Blind Faith Priestley and all that.
You're lucky I didn't go top 10.
Yeah, I've seen some people in chat think that, and it's great. Let's shoot for the stars. We're doing everything right. But yeah, so please check out in the description below. I have a Spotify for my songs, my AI songs. If you've seen them, go. If you haven't seen them or heard them, please go check them out. The Spotify link is in the description. My t-shirt link is in the description for my t-shirts. There's a members link in the description if you want to go check that out. There's no else in there, just those. But yeah, thank you so much.
We're also running an FPL this season.
I was going to say that. So if Priestley gets the details for it, we can add that to Late Night Leeds. Adam, if you want, we can bring the table on every week so we can all have a look at that. So yeah, we're going to do an FPL league. Priestley,
just free to enter. Let's have a laugh.
Free to enter, and yeah, I'll start putting the link in my description, and we can all join that and have it. So have you started it, Priestley? Have you already got it up and running?
Yeah. The league's up and running. Yeah, just follow the link to join the league, and then set your team up.
Sound. I'll start whacking it in my videos, Priestley, and we'll start getting subscribers and as friends over there to have a bit of banter with on that. But yeah, brilliant. Thanks so much. All to say on the way out?
No, thank you.
I love our
style. I'm off to go check my email, see if my season ticket's dropped yet.
Has yours still not turned up?
No, I saw people this morning say theirs is.
It's
got there. Periodically across the day, people have been saying they haven't got it. I'm not worried yet.
Yeah.
If it gets to 2 weeks tomorrow and I haven't got it, then I'll start worrying.
Yeah. No, hopefully it comes through soon. But yeah, no worries. Right. Thank you so much. Loads of views tonight, loads of support, loads of comments, loads of interactions. Love you all. Thanks so much for being here. Priestley, thanks for stepping in, mate. We needed you.
Anytime.
Really, really good. And Adam, love you a bit. Thank you, mate, so much. Take care, everybody, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.